and I'm a very seasoned project manager, and I love and I thrive in managing difficult projects, difficult crises in projects. What I will share with you today are 5 strategies that help me identify and actually work with projects and project crisis without getting burned out. I also get overwhelmed. That's not the topic, or that's not the problem, because that's natural. But I have developed and also researched strategies on how you can also manage critical project crisis in a better way. And these strategies that I'm going to share with you are the ones that I'm implementing myself as well. Not always in a perfect manner, but that's what I'm human. I'm not as well. So I do make mistakes, and I always say I'm a constant work in progress. But 23 years in project management, in managing big crises, have taught me one or the other strategy. What I would also like to share is, or invite you is, if you have any questions. This is a LinkedIn Live, so I don't really see your comments at this moment in time. But if you have questions, either ask the questions in the comments below of this event, or send me a direct message, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you on your challenges. So let's dive in. When you face a crisis, when you face something difficult, in particular in a project is something, when I talk about project management, where you have a task and a team that is working on these topics. And you also have stakeholders that often have conflicting interests. So there is a lot of tension in a project. You have usually a budget and a time constraint. So you need to deliver something at a certain point in time with limited resources and with conflicting interests. This is usually the setup that I consider a project, and where conflicts happen and where you can sometimes face a crisis. And this can be in the professional environment, but it also can be in a private environment. And what I learned also the hard way is, let's say, earlier in my career, I was the one who really wanted, to function, to be productive and solve solutions. So when there was a crisis, I was just the one who was diving into finding a solution instantly, because everyone was panicking, everyone was increasing the pressure. So I wanted to be fast and dive in finding a solution. But what I also learned, that this was probably not the best way. So instead of really trying to firefight, is to step back for a moment. And this doesn't mean it needs to be 24 hours or 15 minutes, or it's just really to recognize that there is a crisis, there is a problem, and let me breathe. Let me step back and let me breathe and compose myself to really understand what's the situation, what is happening. And if you have the luxury to say, I'm taking 24 hours to breathe and to digest what is happening, and to really evaluate, well, what is happening to the project and what is happening to me, and what is actually really happening right now. So what is the crisis? Where does it come from? How does it affect me, myself, and how does it affect the project? So it's not about instant response. It's about reflecting, pausing, and being strategic about your next steps. Because when you plan, when you set up a project, you also know that the better you plan, the better the implementation. The more you think in upfront, the easier it is later on. And that is exactly the same situation when you face a crisis, to really allow yourself, despite everyone screaming, despite everyone panicking, is to stay calm and say, okay, calm down, we will solve this crisis, we will solve this problem, but let's think a moment and then be strategic about how we solve the problem, the crisis, in the best way. It's for you, it's strategic risk assessment, it is strategic management, and in your role as a project leader, you are also the one who then shows leadership skills to really lead your team through those crises. So it's really a strategic action of your leadership role, instead of jumping instantly into firefighting mode. The second strategy, and that's why you need to have time to think, is the prioritization. What are your non-negotiables? What are your non-negotiables in the project, and for you as a project leader, as a person as well? So you really need to find what is the most important and the most urgent element that you need to solve. And for you as a project leader, as a leader, it is also what is important to you in this situation. What are your non-negotiables? So as an example, when you have kids at home, one of your non-negotiables, despite everything turning upside down, is I need to be home at 6 o'clock, and I need this 2 hours, 5 hours, X amount of time to spend time with my family. This is my non-negotiable. And maybe also your non-negotiable or your little maneuver is that maybe your partner can step in on one evenings to help you free up some space for yourself. So it is both the prioritization, what is super urgent and important for the project crisis, but at the same time, what is in this crisis situation, what is the non-negotiable element for you as a project manager? Because you are equally as important as the crisis, because you are the leader who needs to lead the team through this crisis. So you need to take care of yourself as well. And maybe one of the elements is when you have identified these non-negotiable elements. So sorry, I need to take a sip. So your most important elements that you have just identified, I still need, I'm sorry, is you need to communicate these to your stakeholders. So you have done your assessment, you have identified and prioritized the most important elements, and you now need to communicate to your stakeholders professionally and your stakeholders at home. And the more honest you are, the better they respond. So pretending everything is fine, we'll solve it, and move it under the carpet doesn't work. Because it will pop up later on. So being honest and transparent with your stakeholders is super important. And it's not only the element where you say we have a problem, but you communicate in particular to C-levels, we have a problem, and this is the elements, these are the steps that we are going to do in order to solve the problem. And I need these resources, these decisions this support from you as a stakeholder, as a C-level manager. So it is in these crises, it's essential for you to communicate in an honest and in a transparent way, and really also demanding from your managers, from the project sponsors, support, decisions, resources, help, because that's what their job is. And you need to request and demand that they step up and support you in solving this crisis. So it is the transparent way of communicating, and also the transparent way of your approach and the decision-making process. And as I said, pretending everything is fine doesn't work. And you as a leader, as a project manager, as a project leader, this is your job and also your chance to really showcase how you manage this difficult crisis and this difficult situation in a very good manner. The fourth strategy is to leverage what energizes you. Usually these situations are draining. They are consuming your energy. They are probably also tiring, because everyone wants something from you instantly, and you really need to not only manage the team and maybe manage external consultants and other stakeholders. So there is a lot of demand on your energy, and everyone is really probably trying to tear you into one of those directions. And it is really important for you to know, well, where do I get the energy as well? You cannot give energy constantly. That is true both for the professional life and for your private and personal life. Always giving, you will be empty soon. So it's really the identification with where do I get energy? Who gives me energy? And these could be also conversations, coffee conversations with other stakeholders, with people who support you, who give you energy. And this is something where you say you really need to schedule time to manage your energy level, to manage and reach out specifically for people where you say, I do get energy from them. And in this crisis situation, I need somewhere to fill up my energy levels. And this is extremely important. For me, it is on the one hand, having conversations with a particular set of people, friends, my husband, to really get some energy. But it also, for me, either going for a walk, being in nature, or going for a run. Maybe it's taking a bath. It's really being not only specific, but being intentional. Being intentional where I say, this is an important time. This is a time where I know people want my energy, and I intentionally set aside time to fill up my energy so that I can lead the project through this crisis. And I think this is also something where you say, you are human, you are a leader, and you need to balance and really identify what is something that is doing good for yourself as a leader. But maybe also you find some elements where you can energize your team when you say, okay, let's have some coffee together, let's have some ice cream together, just break up the tension a little bit to motivate to your team to put in some energy. And sometimes it's not even things that help your team to get energized. It's maybe a friendly email and said, I appreciate that you put in all the effort. I know it's a difficult time. I know it's very tough, but I see you. I see that you're struggling. I thank you so much. And it could also be that maybe the project sponsor, you reach out to your project sponsor or to C-level management and say, listen, you know that we are working a lot and it's a difficult time. Please, can you join the next team meeting and motivate the team a little? Tell them that you see they are working a lot. Just really use the network, the project sponsors and the management to help you lift up the team. And one of the most important elements that I hope by now I got across to you is that self-management is a crucial element in project management. You are a leader, you are also a role model to your team. And if you manage yourself, your energy, your nerves, your sleep, and I'm not really good in managing my sleep because that's my very weak point. But I know that when I slept well, I have more energy, I'm more productive, I'm more efficient. So I'm more of the leader that my team needs. And one of the elements is also, when I say managing energy, it's not only understanding who gives me energy, which conversations help me a lot, but also identify which elements are draining energy that at the moment in time I cannot bear. And sometimes these are, let's say, family meetings where you know, well, yeah, they are sometimes exhausting. And maybe in this situation where you say Sunday afternoon, Sunday, the usual coffee events or coffee meetings with your family are at that moment in time not the perfect. So maybe you can say, I'm not joining this Sunday, I'm joining in 2 weeks again. And so it's really understanding what gives you energy and what drains the energy of you. And this is something very, very important for you as a project leader, as a leader, to understand where you need to set your boundaries and say no to things that don't support you. I hope that these strategies are something that you can work with, and that they are something that really help you during the next crisis that you are going to manage. I am setting up a community. Maybe you have seen my title, Queen of Projects. This is a title that I actually received from a client 6 months ago. And I would have never called myself queen, but they put it out there and said, well, you are our Queen of Projects. And I said, that sounds interesting. And then there was someone else telling or naming me similar. And since then, I identified that actually that's quite a fun title. And I'm building and rebuilding my project management, coaching my project management community. I'm coaching women in project management through difficult projects. And the community is now called Crisis to Crown Community, and my Crisis to Crown Academy will launch in January 2026. And up to January, so every month, I will host a 2-hour workshop on crisis management in difficult projects. And this is going to be a free workshop, a free 2-hour workshop. If you're interested in these topics, I'm inviting you to join my newsletter, because this will also be communicated during these newsletter, during these emails, when there will be the next workshop, and how you can register for the workshop, And there are also other resources that I'm sharing within my newsletter. I'm really inviting you to join my newsletter to get some more information. Obviously, you can unsubscribe at any time. If you join, what you see here is on the QR code is my recognition workbook that I've developed in the last week. And the recognition workbook is a step-by-step guide how you can communicate your achievements in a fact-based manner. Because usually we women don't really share our achievements in a good way. We usually say our team has achieved this and our team has achieved that, but we rarely say I have achieved X, Y, and Z. And this recognition workbook is a tool that hopefully helps you to phrase and structure your achievements in a way where you say, I'm confident, I'm happy to share this achievement with my team, with my line manager, with my managers, with C-level, so that you can advance in your career. And with a note, without being perceived as being arrogant. So if this is something for you, I'm looking forward to hearing from you, to reading from you. Again, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm more than happy to get back to you. Have a wonderful, in Hamburg, it's afternoon. Have at some point in time a wonderful weekend. And let's keep in touch.